So how else can we pay the interest?
We can go to third world countries and take some of their money that they have created as debt.
How?
By selling goods to them through exports.
But aren't they already in deep debt?
That is correct.
Why?
Because they copied our money creation system.
What do you mean?
It started with the Bank of England.
Then what?
Then America copied our system.
Then what?
Then everybody copied America.
And now?
The whole world has more debt than money. And we all have to increase debt forever to pay back the interest that does not exist.
How?
Either ordinary people take on more debt, or businesses take on more debt, or the government takes on more debt, or another country takes on more debt and gives it to us.
But if everybody is in the same situation, how do we win?
We don't.
So the whole world loses.
That is correct.
This is crazy.
That is correct.
What now?
Either the whole system collapses or we change the way we create money.
What do you mean?
I know this guy called Simon Dixon. He is part of a small group of people called monetary reformers. Economists call monetary reformers crackpots. Monetary reformers believe that money should not be created by banks.
Does Simon Dixon and the monetary reformers smoke crack?
No. But economists think that Simon Dixon smokes crack. They think anybody that hangs out in the monetary reform gang must smoke crack. Monetary reformers believe money is too important to be privately created by banks. Economists call that crazy.
What is crazy about that?
Well, the legend says that when money reformers smoke crack, they believe that money should be created debt-free.
But I do not smoke crack, and I think there is nothing crazy about that.
Well, economists think it is crazy, and they will probably think that you smoke crack.
Why?
Because university told them.
How do you create money debt-free without smoking crack?
The person in charge of creating money simply creates it. Then the money is spent into the economy on good things. When the money is spent, it is not asked to be repaid. I have been told that it works best if the person that creates the money does not smoke crack.
Then who creates it?
Well, the government cannot create it.
Why? Do they smoke crack?
No. But they cannot get votes unless they spend more. The public always wants them to spend more in exchange for votes. So they will always create too much. This will cause inflation.
I see. Can the banks create the money?
No. The banks cannot create it.
Why? Do the banks smoke crack?
No. But the banks will always make more profits when they create more money. This will always lead to a financial crisis.
Well, who can create the money?
Somebody needs to create the money independent of the banks and the government.
Who?
Well, a nationalized independent central bank could do it.
But how will you stop the nationalized independent central bank from creating too much money?
Well, if an independent nationalized central bank created money, it would be a lot more simple than the current system and a lot more transparent. It would be very easy to check what they are doing.
What do you mean?
Well, currently we rely on economists to create mathematical formulas that nobody understands. These formulas are used to guide central bankers. Central bankers try to indirectly control how much money banks create by changing the cost of borrowing. It is almost impossible to do, and nobody really understands it.
What is the cost of borrowing?
Interest rates.
Oh. Is that why interest rates go up and down?
Yes. That is central bankers trying to control how much money banks create. They get people to borrow, then send them bankrupt later.
How do they do that?
Well, if we want to stimulate growth, we get more people to borrow.
How?
By keeping interest rates low, it is cheap to borrow.
I see.
Then when people borrow more, banks create more and more money. As more money is created by banks, there is more and more interest to repay. Then prices go up.
So then what?
Well, then we send the people that borrowed the money bankrupt. We do this by increasing interest rates and the cost of repaying their loans.
How does that work?
Well, when central bankers increase interest rates, the cost of people's loans go up, and people can no longer repay. They go bankrupt because they have to repay more than before.
So this stops prices increasing. Is that not called the business cycle?
That is correct. We get people in debt, then send them bankrupt. Economists call this the business cycle. They think this is a natural process.
I see. So if money was created without debt, you would not need to use interest rates to get people in debt and then send them bankrupt.
That is correct.
So why don't we do that?
Because economists think that would be crazy. If we did this, we would all be crackpots.
I think this system is crazy.
I agree.
So how would the nationalized independent central bank create money?
Simple. They would create the amount of money our economy needs to eliminate the business cycle. This will be done transparently, without the need to manipulate interest rates.
Then what?
They would give any money needed to eliminate the business cycle to the government to spend debt-free. We also make it illegal for banks to create money. We did this in the past, last time we reformed money. It is nothing new.
Does this mean the end of the financial markets and banks?
Of course not. That would be crazy. It just means we stop subsidizing banks, and they stop profiting from creating our nation's money. This will allow the financial markets and banks to be much more stable. There is a genuine need for the financial markets and for banks to lend real debt-free money.
I see. How would the government spend the debt-free money?
The public would vote through democracy, like we do now. This is no radical change in politics. It just makes the money system work.
So the government would get the money they need without taking on debt?
That is correct.
And we would not need to get people in debt and send them bankrupt by manipulating interest rates?
That is correct.
And government would not be allowed to create money to get votes?
That is correct.
And banks would not be allowed to create money?
That is correct.
And the crackpots would rule the world?
No. Simon Dixon and the monetary reformers are just interested in creating a banking and monetary system that works. They do not want to rule the world.
How do we make monetary reform happen?
Over the years, there have been plenty of proposals on how to do this without major disruption to the financial markets.
Why don't we do it then?
Because economists think it is crazy. So they don't teach it at university. They would have to admit that Simon Dixon and the monetary reformers are not actually smoking crack. Only then can we start making progress before the system collapses altogether.
I think economists are crazy.
I do too.
What now?
We either wait for the entire system to collapse, or we reform the way we create money.
How do we let the government know?
We have to get the economists to stop thinking Simon Dixon and the monetary reformers are smoking crack.
Let's do it. Where can I start?
By showing the economists that money is important to economics and they should take a look. I think somebody is filming us. Perhaps we should forward the recording of this conversation on to them.
Okay, I will tell my professor.
Good luck.
I will try to get the video and upload it to www.simondixon.org. And you can forward the recording to them.
Great.